Alcatraz, 12 acres of solid rock.
Alcatraz was supposed to be the one prison no one could possibly escape, but you can't always trust what they say. In June of 1962, 3 inmates vanished from their cells.
It appears to be the first successful escape in the history of the maximum security prison.
And to this day, one of America's greatest mysteries is where did they go? The prison has layers of surveillance and bars on the inside, and trained sharpshooters on the outside. It was all built on a small island in the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, a mile and a half from land. And government officials said the water was infested with man-eating sharks and far too cold to survive a mile-and-a-half swim. The prison, known for holding infamous mobsters like Al Capone, also held proven escape artists like John and Clarence Anglin. And they gave the inmates metal utensils for dinner that were also useful for digging through walls. And the walls were crumbling due to decades of corrosion and poor maintenance.
Crumbling concrete and eroding metals, with $5 million needed for repairs.
The inmates also had workshops and power tools and sewing rooms and a lot of raincoats the guards did not keep track of. They also happened to have a library that included a how-to guide for making a raft by sewing together raincoats. What could go wrong? 4 inmates spent most of their nights digging holes around the vents of their cells, and they spent much of their days making life vests and rafts out of the raincoats. One even convinced the guards to let them hang blankets over the work area, so the guards couldn't see what they're doing. He claimed it was to keep down dust, and they believed it. They also had machines to make stuff out of rubber, plaster, cardboard, and paint. They made cardboard covers to conceal where they had dug out their vents, and dummies of themselves to make it look like they were sleeping. One of those 4 inmates, Alan West, did not dig a big enough hole, and he got stuck the night of the escape. The other 3, Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin, escaped.
They climbed drain pipes to the top of the cell block and then slid down vents to the ground. Again, all of this within sight of guards.
From here, government officials say the 3 inmates likely met their doom. But we don't know that for sure, because once again, you can't always trust what they say. Remember how they said Alcatraz had trained sharpshooters on the outside? Turns out there were no trained sharpshooters, and no great white man-eating sharks in the bay. And remember the claim the water was too cold to survive the swim? Well, after the escape, people started giving it a try. A lot of people. In fact, every June, San Francisco has a triathlon called the Escape from Alcatraz. They swim a mile and a half across the bay, same time of year as the escape. Then after the swim, they proceed to bike 18 miles and run another 8. So Morris and the Anglin brothers may have drowned, but they also may have made it to San Francisco. And then who knows where. Here's Frank Morris's cousin Bud Morris.
If Frank went to my daddy's sister's house in Detroit, Michigan, I know that. And I do know that after, I'll say, 2 months, Frank was back in California. Now, he called me. I talked to him. I saw him.
Meanwhile, the Anglin brothers and their family are from a town in central Florida called Ruskin. The Anglin family said they received Christmas cards from John and Clarence for years, and a drug smuggler who knew John and Clarence told the family he had visited both of them, where he said they were hiding out in Brazil in 1975, 13 years after the escape. And he gave them this picture, which computer analysis has matched to the likenesses of John and Clarence Anglin. Then in 2013, police received this letter from someone claiming to be John Anglin. It states, yes, we all made it that night, but barely. The letter states they all lived for decades after the escape, that Frank Morris died in 2005, and Clarence Anglin died in 2011. And the writer claiming to be John was 83 years old and ailing from cancer. He stated he would turn himself into police if they announce on TV that they'll give him medical attention and jail him for no more than a year. But police kept that letter secret for another 5 years, until it leaked to the media in 2018. Skeptics say the letter was likely just a hoax anyway.
These men could not have survived on the outside under their real names. He doesn't offer their aliases. He doesn't tell us the dates they died, nor where they died. So there's nothing that you can follow up on.
Which brings us right back to the mystery, because once again, you can't always trust what they say.